Good evening and welcome to the second Inside Government show for the 2025 season here at Cayuga Community College we're putting on tonight. This is a show that is shown on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, as well as ARMA, the Auburn Regional Media Access, and Win 89.1, the college's radio station. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. We are very happy to have in the studio for the second time. I guess today's the day for second-time guests in the sense because the chairman of the legislature was on here for the second time as chairman, but we are delighted to have the district attorney for Cayuga County, Brittany Grome Antonacci, in here to talk to us and give us an update about her office. We'll talk about a number of things with her, but she was elected in 2022. She ran unopposed, succeeding Jon Budelmann, who left that position to become Cayuga County Surrogate Court Judge. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you here. There's a lot of stuff going on with your office, but for those who may not remember what we talked about last fall, how large a staff do you have?
So right now we have 22 members in our office.
Okay.
So we have 8 full-time prosecutors. We have a law associate who is just waiting for her bar exam results, and then she'll become an assistant DA.
Okay.
And then we have 3 investigators and support staff.
And is that roughly the same size as the county of Cayuga County size elsewhere in the county?
It's consistent with other counties based upon the population.
And on occasion, as you know, I served on a jury this spring. One of the reasons we couldn't have you back on because we just didn't. We lost shows, not because you didn't have the time.
I was surprised to see you in the jury box.
So was I. But anyway, but then in that case, you had a special prosecutor, in a sense that wasn't necessarily a member of your staff, or was it a member of your staff?
I believe it was a member of my staff, yes.
So where do you get attorneys? How long do they stay? I mean, you joined the DA's office when?
So I joined, I worked for a different district attorney's office before. So
you were in Albany County.
I was in Albany County, yep. So I was there as an intern for a long time, but I started officially in 2012. And then I came back here and started in 2017, 18, worked for a couple years, and then came back officially in 2021.
So how long does an assistant, I know several of your assistants, I know one's been there a long time,
Yes.
We'll talk about him in a moment, but how long do assistants usually stay for you?
The goal is that we call them career prosecutors. They tend to be a little bit more rare now, given the discovery mandates that came in 2020. It makes the job a lot harder, more time consuming.
So how so?
So I'll give you an example. We are required to turn over every item of discovery to a defendant, which anyone charged with a crime should be entitled to have every item of evidence that we have against them. That requires us a lot of work on our end. So, and law enforcement end. Law enforcement has to provide us with all their video, audio, documents.
So when you say it's
reports.
exhausting, it's because it takes a lot more time.
It takes a lot more time, yes.
And does that mean, so if I remember correctly, 30 years ago, there might have been a part-time DA.
Yes.
This is before Jim Vargason. There was a part-time DA, and there were most likely 3 assistants who I don't know if any of them were full-time back then.
I don't know back then.
But you've now, I mean, you're a full-time office. You're obviously, I think you're the 4th DA who's been full-time since it was made full-time. But it sounds like you have a lot more in prosecutors who are full-time now than we did several decades ago.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say pre-2020, we could do the work that was required of us with half the staff that we have. 2020, with the new discovery mandates, you need the personnel to meet those mandates that are set by the state.
And is it funded?
No, some of it. Most of the counties across the state got additional prosecutors, additional support staff, and they did receive some funding for that. Obviously not enough funding across the board, but I would say our office, I think we only received 1 additional prosecutor and 1 additional support staff based upon those mandates.
And so this is something that our previous guest, the chairman of the legislature, has the budget in his, you don't have a special fund where you go directly to taxpayers. You have to get it from the county. We
would have to get it from the county, but we've been lucky. I've been really proactive in trying to work with the state agencies and getting grant funding, and we've been lucky. We are what's called a GIVE jurisdiction and a STRIVE jurisdiction. GIVE is the gun-involved violence elimination grant, so we were able to get a full-time grant coordinator through that program that's fully paid by the state. We were also able to get a partial part-time community accountability accountability board coordinator who does that portion of the grant for the youth in our community. That's our youth portion requirement of that grant, that fully funded. And Strive, we were able to get a full-time prosecutor through grant funding with the state, and a victim advocate through that funding.
And we're going to talk about Strive in a
Yes.
minute, but I want to stick with your office. So a member of your team, ADA Chris Valdina, was named a special U.S. attorney.
Yes.
That's cool, but what does it mean?
It's a cross designation. It just allows him, should the U.S. attorney need further cooperation, or he's actually could prosecute a federal case if they needed him to, or he
And
could step
has
in
he
and
as
help.
of yet?
He has not. No.
Okay.
But he's really their direct contact to our office, a liaison. You would.
So it supports the mission of your office.
Exactly.
And I bring that up
It's the
only
mission of
his
our
mom, Diana Valdina,
Yeah.
was a professor up here.
She's wonderful. I love her. I saw her on Halloween.
Just want to shout out. She's part of the community up here. Let's take a couple of projects that you've been working on. One that's in the news this week is this Animal Abuse Registry.
Yes.
So the county legislature, I don't know that it's necessarily going to do it tomorrow at their special meeting, but
I believe the 25th they have a public
25th,
hearing.
okay.
Yes.
So they're going to vote on a registry. So what is that?
So it would be maintained by our local county sheriff's office. I wish there was a statewide registry. It would make things a lot easier, but this is a great step in the right direction toward holding animal abuse offenders accountable. So as part of a plea deal, if you are charged with some type of animal abuse crime, whether it be a misdemeanor or a felony, part of your plea deal will be a requirement that you register with the county Animal Abuse Registry, kind of similar to a sex offender. And so you have an obligation to report to the sheriff's office your name, date of birth, address, location, so that others can
On a regular basis?
Just at least once, and make
Okay.
sure that you maintain an updated address, I'm sure. And that will allow people to look you up online if they're looking to give away a pet or an animal, and they can see that you are not on that registry.
So I was surprised that only a third of you will be the 21st
Yes, the
county.
21st county in the
And your
state.
assumption is the county legislature is going to pass this?
I hope so.
Did you work with the legislature to draft the legislation?
So I worked with the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office really spearheaded the drafting of that legislation. I think they worked with the county attorney's office, and I know Onondaga County has a registry, so I think they worked off an example of that as well. But I was aware of the drafting of the language before it was submitted to the legislature.
So again, going back to this, I am surprised there's only a third of the counties.
Yes.
Is this something that's relatively new?
Obviously new here, we should have had it years ago.
Okay.
And I know some counties have had it for quite a while. I'm very grateful that the sheriff's office spearheaded this and pushed it forward. It's been needed for a very, very long time.
So as someone who's most likely killed more goldfish than kept goldfish, I am not a pet person, but I am interested in this subject in the sense, do we see a lot of abuse?
We do. We see a lot of abuse, a lot of egregious abuse. We've had, usually involves dogs. It can range anywhere from failure to provide sustenance to the animals.
So not feeding them?
Exactly,
Okay.
neglecting them, keeping them in crates. We've had animals that have been rescued who have been kept in crates their entire life. Their paws are matted. There's urine and feces everywhere. They can barely walk. So you see that type of level of abuse. And then you see the physical violence, such as stabbings, shootings, that type of thing.
And we saw that in Onondaga County
Yes.
a couple weeks, or 2 weeks ago.
Exactly,
With a
the
dog.
stabbing.
So how do you come across these because the sheriff responds to a domestic violence, some type of case at a site, and they go, oh, wait a second. Is that how these come up? They notice that a dog or cat or some animal, or are there other ways they come across
A lot
them?
of time, it's Good Samaritans. We have neighbors who report it, who may have seen it or hear it. And we work with all the law enforcement agencies, Sheriff's Office, State Police, Auburn Police Department, and we work closely with the SPCA. The director there is very proactive. He's a big proponent. I don't want to speak for him, but I believe he's a big proponent of
I think in
this
the
local
Citizen
law.
Story in today's
Yes.
paper, it talks about.
So we all have actually created somewhat of an animal abuse task force with all of our agencies, and we are working very closely together to make sure that we get justice for any type of animal.
So it's not necessarily you're passing new laws about how people deal with animals. It's about making sure there's a registry so that abuse doesn't occur in the future.
Exactly, and so people can make informed decisions if they are looking to give up a pet to another individual, or someone's looking to purchase a pet. You can look them up online.
So walk me through this in this sense. So what happens so they're barred for a certain period of time?
Correct. For 15 years, first offense.
First offense. If
Yes.
it's a second offense.
Lifetime ban.
Okay. So what happens to the animal if you catch them with an animal and they are on the ban list?
So we will require them, obviously, we always require that the person turn over the pet, release the pet to the SPCA, and they get care and make sure that they're turned over. There is a misdemeanor that they can be charged with for failure to register if they either violate the registry by owning a pet or a domesticated animal, or they fail to register.
And this does not mean that an animal will be euthanized because, unless they're too far gone, that's a different issue.
Correct, right.
But the goal is to get that animal out of the hands of somebody who's abused in the past
Yes.
and get it into good hands.
That is our ultimate goal, yes.
Okay. So if you were going to talk to members of the legislature right now, what would you tell them why this is important?
We would ask that they pass this. It's a critical step toward preventing repeat offenses and holding people accountable who abuse animals. And it applies to domesticated animals, dogs, cats, any
Not
type
my
of pet.
goldfish.
No, not your goldfish.
Okay. So any idea how many cases of this you get a year?
We've been significantly increasing cases because we have been very proactive lately with the task force. So the SPCA has a full-time investigator. We work closely with them. They call us on a weekly basis. We do check-ins. So I don't know the number, but it's been increasing over the past year.
A newer program that you have, I want to talk about three altogether. Let's go to the second one. This is this statewide targeted reduction in
Yes.
inmate partner violence. Easier said is strive, but again, statewide targeted reductions in intimate partner violence. I want to say intimate, not inmate.
Yes.
Which I misspoke. What is the STRIVE program?
So the STRIVE program, we were actually one of 20 counties in upstate New York chosen to receive funding for this. This is a program that focuses on the importance of collecting evidence and building cases. It really promotes a proactive district attorney's office, proactive law enforcement. It supports collaboration between law enforcement and the DA's office. And the really important thing is it's focused on connecting survivors of domestic violence or intimate partner violence to service providers. So we work as a team. So the chairs of this grant, it's grant funding through the state. It's a first-year initiative. It's brand new.
So how much are you getting funded?
We are getting approximately $143,000.
For the DA's office?
Yes, for the DA's office.
But the overall grant is larger for the county. Was it
Close to-
570-something thousand?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So we have a full-time prosecutor that has been added to our staff to get this initiative up and running. It is a lot of work the first year because it's a brand new program, but we are really turning cases. We are really focusing on being proactive versus a reactive district attorney's office when it comes to domestic violence cases. We have a significant amount of domestic violence, as does every jurisdiction in the state, but so the three heads are Matt Andrasco, the chief of police with Auburn Police, myself, and then we have CAB, Community Action Program, and they also work in tandem with Cayuga Counseling Services to make sure that we can help victims of domestic violence get help immediately and quickly, even before an arrest takes place.
So you mentioned the police chief. So does this mean this is mainly for the city of Auburn?
It is right now mainly for the city of Auburn.
Okay.
There is discussion that it could go countywide, which I would support. Obviously, we have domestic violence cases all over the county, but right now it is just strictly focused in the city.
And when did it start?
It started in January.
And do you have an idea of how many cases you've already started to go in that area?
So we are really focusing on investigations. So, and I say we're becoming proactive is because I sent you a couple statistics. So if you look back in 2018, we had maybe 2 investigations open. Now we have 92 investigations open, and they're primarily with the STRIVE prosecutor. She is focusing on child abuse cases, domestic violence cases, and these are all cases that haven't resulted in an arrest yet. She's building a case and working with law enforcement and support and support services to make sure the victims are okay and getting any evidence we need to potentially prosecute the offenders.
So looking at the 2025 numbers that you sent me, you had, as of, we'll say this week,
Today,
we're 10 months we're 10 months through the year. You've got 1,090 misdemeanors, 323 felonies, and you have 92 open?
92 open investigations, which is a significant increase, which is great, because it means we are working.
The whole year last year, you had about half that. If you stay on track at this stage, you will double the number of investigations.
Yes, which is why that Strive prosecutor is
not that that's great.
It's a good thing.
It's a problem.
It's a problem, but it's a good thing. It means we are. We used to in the past. I say reactive district attorney's office because you get a case, you say, oh, there's just not enough evidence, and you close it out. Now we're taking a look at the case, taking a look at the evidence, building a case, and determining whether or not there's enough to move forward with prosecution. And this is important in child abuse cases as well.
So the 570,000 plus and of that 143 to your office, is that a one-time grant, or are you hoping for multiple years?
We're hoping it's an annual grant.
But you'll have to wait till next April.
Yes, to confirm, yes.
Oh, okay. So will there be a gap where you won't be able to pay for this because of the state budget?
Nope, we've been told that it will continue and that we are actually moving in the right direction. We're similar, the GIVE grant funding that we receive, we've been used an example for Tier 2 agencies across the state because we are doing very well with that grant. Likewise, I think we'll be the same situation with the Strive grant.
So I want to talk about another program that you have. This is this Community Accountability Board program. That is not an acronym to the best. Well, I guess it is, CAB program.
Yes.
So this is new. You brought this here. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yes.
But in the general overarching area, what is it?
So the Community Accountability Board is basically an alternative to the traditional criminal justice system. So I actually participated in this type of program when I was an assistant DA in Albany County, which is why when I took over as DA, this is one of my initiatives that I really wanted to bring here locally. I think it's important. It really focuses on individuals who are aged 18 to 25, younger offenders, first-time offenders who commit what I call quality of life offenses, petty larcenies, criminal mischiefs, trespasses, low-level misdemeanor crimes. And the goal...
So this is not felonies?
We make some exceptions. We have made some exceptions for grand larcenies, for example. But it's really to focus on the individual, to give the community a voice, have the individual understand how their actions affect the community as a whole, how they can change their behavior, and in hopes that they will not get rearrested and they will remain conviction-free, that they won't have a criminal history at the end of it.
So this sounds like it deviates in three different ways, where there's three different paths here. One is the individual. So let's talk about the individual who's arrested. What happens to them to get how do they get in the program, and B, what's done with them?
So it's post-arrest. So an individual will get arrested. They will go. We focus primarily in Auburn City Court with Judge Thurston. So they will appear in front of Judge Thurston. They will get arraigned. I get referrals from all types of people. So it can be a community member. Maybe a victim makes the referral. I've had probation make referrals. The judge or the defense counsels.
Why would a victim make a referral?
Sometimes they believe that maybe jail isn't appropriate or probation's not appropriate, or even in conviction, they don't necessarily. Sometimes it's a family member. They don't want to see them with a conviction, but they believe that they should learn from their actions and not make the same mistakes. So this gives them the opportunity to they enter into a reparative agreement, which includes community service in our area.
Okay, so is it only community service, or are there other things that they have to do?
So they have to come to a monthly board meeting we have 7 board members, 6 currently. We are adding another 7th board member soon. And they appear, they introduce themselves, they talk about their background. Do they have addiction issues, mental health issues? What kind of brought them to commit the crime? Why did they commit that crime? And then community service requirement is mandated. And then we go into other things such as write an apology letter, an essay, some type of other action to make sure we have individuals charged with reckless driving. We have a law enforcement officer who's going to come into the board meeting next month and talk to him about the ramifications of recklessly driving.
So how often does this board meet?
It meets once a month.
Okay, and so you mentioned again the city of Auburn.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, I read this is mainly for the city right now, correct?
Yes. The goal is to expand out to the county, and we make some exceptions based upon age, but focus primarily in the city.
So why in the city? Just out of curiosity.
Busiest caseload.
Okay.
It's the busiest caseload. We have a lot of young individuals in the city, so we're able to kind of pick and take a look at certain cases, see if they would fit the criteria. And the criteria is subjective, but we're really looking for individuals who are first-time offenders. I have a participant who committed 11 petty larcenies, but each petty larceny was $3.50 because that individual was stealing during work hours to eat lunch. And so you learn kind of an idea of why they committed the crime. You get to the background of it, and you figure out how to fix it.
So at one time, you have 5 people in the program at a time?
It's actually depends. So right now we have 5 active participants, yes.
Okay. But you have graduated 7. So
yes.
tell me what graduation means.
So graduation means that they have met with the board at least for a 6-month period.
Okay.
They've completed their community service requirements and any additional requirements. Sometimes it could be, like I said, an essay, an apology letter. The victim is allowed to come speak if they feel that they would like to. It is open to the public. And the board members consist of volunteers in our community.
And who are, can you name some of them?
So Bill Berry is our community accountability board.
Used to work here at the college?
Yep, or he's our coordinator. So
Okay.
he is kind of helping me spearhead this. He's in charge of it, and he runs each of the meeting. So he is, I'll give you his name because he's employed through our office part-time.
So in doing this, do the victims of the crime come to these meetings?
They're allowed to, they're invited.
Okay.
Most choose not to, but I have had the opportunity to speak with some of the victims and speak on their behalf to the defendant.
So have you had anybody of those who've been in the program who this program doesn't work and you're going straight to prosecution?
We've had one. We've had
Okay.
one who came in, said that the requirements were too tough, didn't want to do it, and would just go forward with traditional prosecution.
How'd they make out?
They got a conviction, so they now have a criminal record,
Okay.
which is unfortunate. You try to avoid that.
And the goal here is to also to reduce recidivism.
That's the whole goal of it.
And so of those 7, have you seen any?
I have not seen any of those
Okay.
7.
And
It's new.
It's new.
So it is new.
So kind of switching gears here, let me make sure I'm clear on this. There were these ICE raids on September 4th up at Incredimeal in Cato. Your office was not involved in
No,
that?
we didn't have any
Okay.
involvement.
Did you ever get a briefing from anybody who said, because there's obviously, as you know, the sheriff was here a month ago. There's been some question about whether sheriffs and local law enforcement was told exactly what was occurring in the fact pattern there. But if there were certain crimes, would your office have been involved?
It depends on the crime. If it's a
Okay.
state crime, I would hope that they would let my office know, and I hope that they would communicate that with us. But we don't, immigration is a federal issue, so to my knowledge, that was all handled by the federal agencies.
So we asked this of the chairman. You happen to have the lucky ability to hear this question
Sure.
beforehand. And by the way, you also heard the book question at the end. We're going to say what the chairman's book was.
Okay.
There is a conversation occurring at the Cayuga County Legislature now, and we've asked this of John Lamondis, we've asked this of the sheriff, we want to ask you as well, that to have the county vote on the idea that they will have a non-cooperation agreement would prevent the sheriff's office from participating in ICE immigration raids. Have you been consulted on this at all?
No, I have not.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I would not be in support of a non-cooperation agreement.
So my question more so is, you are one of those oddly elected officials in Cayuga County where you were elected on your own, like the sheriff. You're up next year, the sheriff's up next year. You are your own constitutional officer. Can the county legislature tell you what you can and cannot do?
Not to my knowledge. I think that should be left to the discretion of the elected sheriff.
Okay.
That would be my position, and he should have.
But the worry would also be that
It would be
telling
my-
your
yes.
office, you know what, if ICE knocks on your door, that's a bad example. If ICE contacted you to help on something, they couldn't say you can't cooperate.
It would be more like the county legislature trying to tell my office what type of crimes we can prosecute. That wouldn't fly.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, what are you seeing in trends in your office on the drug front? Is there any illicit? What's the big illicit drug right now?
Thankfully, we have kind of stepped away from fentanyl, which is good. We are seeing less fentanyl in the area. We are seeing an increase in cocaine.
Okay, and so opioids are also out at this stage, or they're not as big an issue?
Cocaine's really been our issue right now. That's really what we're seeing is cocaine. It ebbs and flows, though. It depends on the timing. We've had
So why does it come back? Why does cocaine come back from the 80s?
It just depends on the markets and what's available. I think people were very afraid, rightfully so, of fentanyl products and drugs laced with fentanyl. So perhaps less people were using that or buying that for those fears. I don't know. It just really depends on the drug market.
When we talk about higher education and economic development, we look at this upside down triangle. We have Rochester, we have Syracuse, we have Ithaca. You're in the middle.
Yes.
We have a northern border, which some people don't recognize it. They do recognize it, but they don't think of it as an international border. Where's the cocaine coming in from?
We see it from California. We see it from Mexico. It just depends on who's bringing it into the area. I'd say we're kind of stuck in the middle of Syracuse and Rochester. So we've had an increase in firearms that have been recovered thanks to the proactive actions of the GIVE grant and law enforcement. But those firearms they're illegal firearms who are being possessed by individuals who have criminal histories, who are mostly from Rochester or Syracuse. We are not really seeing local individuals bringing in those illegal firearms here.
And are we still seeing heroin use here?
Not as much. Heroin, fentanyl have kind of taken a step back, and we're seeing a more cocaine.
I'll ask the chief the same question. I think I asked the same question of the sheriff. What's your biggest worry right now on the drug front of trends?
I think we're doing a good job on the drug front. We have the Finger Lakes Drug Task Force is extremely proactive. They work closely with our GIVE unit and our GIVE grant funding. And I think APD's been doing an excellent job on that front, really targeting anybody who is selling drugs in this area and any type of dealers. So I commend them for that.
Your office has also been in the news recently because you're also prosecuting welfare fraud.
Yes.
How big a piece of your overall action pie is that?
Not probably a small percentage. We have been working closely with the sheriff's office. We have a welfare fraud task force, and we are grant funded for that. So from the state. So we received some funding from the state for it's called Crimes Against Revenue. So it kind of fell by the wayside a little bit over the past decade, and we've really been struggling and doing much better over the past couple of years to pick that up.
So is it your office doing the investigations in conjunction with the sheriff and the police department?
Yes.
And how do you get these cases? Are they
also Department of Social Services.
Well, I was going to say,
yes.
Are they the referral agency?
Yes, they are the referral agency.
Okay. I'm not going to let you get out of here because I said at the beginning of the show you've been in office 3 years,
yes.
which means next year's fourth, and because of the way they've changed the state of New York's election laws, you're going to have to put petitions out for office in February and March. So at this stage, are you planning to seek re-election?
Yes. And next year is going to be my 5th year because I got that acting year.
Well, I know that, but for an election,
yes.
You have a 4-year cycle.
Yeah, I do, correct.
So earlier today, I asked around, and it sounds like Judge Leone, who's our county court judge, his term is up. He is finishing next year he will finish his second of 2 10-year jobs. 2 of your predecessors have run for county court. Jon Budelmann is currently serving there. Jim Vargason, who we mentioned before, had run for a county court. He's going to age out at 70. He has made it clear he's not going to run for a 1 year.
Yes.
Is there any consideration to you about running for judge, since that has been the normal stepping stone or option for DAs? There's
always that consideration. It's a goal of mine in the future. Right now, I love being district attorney.
So your plan is to run for re-election, whether Tom Leone runs or not?
As of right now, that is my plan.
And again, last question, because apparently it is our favorite among students. And I want to say, Chairman Anna couldn't remember his book until he got out of here, and it was The Courage to Be Disliked. But do you listen or read? I know you have a 1.5-year-old,
right?
So you may not have time. So do you listen or read books?
On vacation, I will.
Okay.
So I'm a vacation reader.
And what do you like?
So it's typical, but I love a good murder mystery. So
really?
Ruth Ware is actually one of my favorite authors. She's a British author, but that would be my preference. I only get to read on vacation, so it's my leisure reading.
Otherwise, it's legal briefs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our guest has been the Cayuga County District Attorney, Brittany Grome Antonacci. We want to thank you again for coming in here. You do change your schedule, and we appreciate it having you come here and give us law enforcement updates. And we hope you'll update us on your office in the future
Absolutely.
as well. We will be back on Thursday with, as we mentioned, the Auburn Police Chief, Matthew Androsco, will be here. We'll talk a little bit about Strive and some of the other programs that he's working on with the DA's office. And we'll have the new Executive Director of the Schweinfurth Memorial Art Center, Catherine Underhill, who just started about 2 months ago. If you'd like to send us your ideas for questions or guests, you can send them to cozguytho@aol.com. But I'm Guy Cosentino for Cayuga Community College. We want to thank you for watching tonight. We hope you stay safe over the next couple of days and see you back here in the studio on Thursday.